What are your thoughts on unmarried Christian couples going on vacations together? Did y'all struggle with guilt as newlyweds from going from boundaries to having sex?
Whew, the fire is hot. But yeah, the Lord had to do a lot of work. He had to do a lot of work. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to our channel. If this is your first time, my name's Kyle.
And I'm Kian.
And this is part 4 of our advice videos.
Yep.
We're gonna just keep on
going.
going.
We're gonna do a million parts.
Yeah, because we
might
love
as well
them.
just stop counting the parts.
Yeah,
this is an advice video.
This is an advice video. Because we all need advice.
We don't need to justify it. We're just here.
We're just here to give advice. Yeah,
because we need advice.
And that's the thing. We get as much advice from this as we give. So anyways, we appreciate you for joining us. If this is your first time, make sure you like this video, join the family, join the gang, hit the subscribe button, and stay tuned because, yeah, we're just going to have like 1,000 of these videos.
Alright, let's get into it. The first question is how to be better at communicating when long distance. So we were only long distance for
2 months.
2 months, so we can't really speak into it too much, but I will say
I think we can.
One thing that really helped us, because I feel like getting on, like we would FaceTime every night for hours, and one thing that like helped the conversation keep going was we had a book called 101 Questions to Ask Before You Get Engaged, so we would
Great
like
book.
Randomly pick a number and ask each other those questions, and I think there's like a bunch of websites you can look up if you're like maybe not trying to do like the engagement centered ones.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that just really helped our conversations and to have good communication. Plus we were kind of like getting ahead of things that we would want to know about each other.
Yeah, and in the beginning of our relationship, we were just meeting, so it might be a little different in terms of somebody who's known each other for like 6 years and they finally start dating and, you know, etc. So we had a lot of things to learn about each other, so that kind of made it easy, but then those questions really helped to add on to that because eventually we ran out of things to talk about too.
Yeah.
Another thing we did was we read a book together.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, what was the book? Love, the love book.
Oh, I don't think it's love.
With the chocolate covered dragon. I recommend it to everybody. It's so good. I wanted to keep it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to look it up. Keep your love on.
I knew love was in it. That was really helpful because not only did it give us something to do together like on FaceTime, but it also brought up more conversation, more thoughts, more ideas.
Yeah, we would take turns reading it to each other.
Yeah.
So we would physically read it together and then discuss it, and we would also watch shows together.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah.
So with all of that being said, obviously the communication you're talking about might be more like working through issues, but I think
in the questions.
Yeah, I think having those kinds of communications can avoid a lot of other issues because it's easy for like insecurity to build in long distance relationships if like your conversations are kind of going dry or like they're busy and you're not having quality time, or like the only times you get on your phone you like don't really know what to say anymore. So having all that keeps the relationship going and engaged
and fun. And keeps it fun. Yeah.
And then I would say anytime you're frustrated, probably also try to work that out on FaceTime.
Definitely. Not through text. Yeah, not through text. That's asking for disaster.
Yeah. All right. Next question. Did y'all struggle with guilt as newlyweds from going from boundaries to having sex?
Did we struggle? Wait, with guilt?
Yeah. So a lot of people who grew up in Christianity, there's like the purity culture of like really condemning sex in general, and
even married.
Well, it's not like they're condemning sex in marriage, but they don't talk about sex in marriage being like such a blessing that just
it can bring guilt in. Got it.
In general, even when it is in a covenant, can still bring that guilt.
Cool.
But that's not something we struggle with.
We did not.
I think
not at all.
Part of that is because we didn't grow up with that kind of like culture or pressure or like people doing that. Like we already had sex, so we kind of like knew what it was like before marriage, and yeah, I think it just made it more exciting that, like, it was special and that we were saving it for marriage once we did meet.
Yeah, definitely. It was like redeeming love.
Yeah. True.
But yeah, so it was not a problem for us. We didn't have anything like that to deal with. But if you do deal with that,
I know it can be normal, especially if you grow up with that. So don't feel bad.
Don't feel bad. And if you're heading to that direction, you're engaged or something like that, and it's thought that has come into your mind, and you're worried or concerned about it, really give that to the Lord. Surrender that. Pray. Seek the Lord's word on what He wants us to do, how He wants us to live, how He wants to bless us with marriage, and just know it's so beautiful, and it should bring no guilt. Anything that does bring guilt or that sense of shame or whatever is not from the Lord. So just pray against that, and
yeah. Also seek counsel.
Seek counsel. I was gonna say
we use Faithful Counseling. We always have our affiliate link in the description, which is an online therapy. So being able to talk to somebody who doesn't know you personally and talk through those things, either alone or with you and your spouse, that could be very helpful. Or seek counsel at church, and meet with somebody because those are just like deeper rooted things that, like, there's a reason why those thought patterns started in the first place. That
Definitely.
You can work through.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. We have 2 questions on engagement.
Oh.
Getting married in 6 months, how to make the most of my final months of engagement, and I'm engaged, going through the sanctifying fire. What was some things you did to not give up?
Whew, the fire is hot.
I know, we really went through the fire.
Oh, we went through the fire.
Leading up to the wedding was tough.
Yeah, very tough. Well, do you want to touch on the first one first, or
like how to make the most out of your engagement?
Yeah, let's do that first. How to make the most out of your final months of engagement. What would you say?
Well, I would say when it comes to wedding stuff, they say, like, just try not to stress about things. Don't let it be like a dividing factor.
Yes.
Like, call another woman who has been married and planned a wedding, because your husband cannot relate. And you need somebody to vent to that has gone through it and understands. Like, things that I was getting frustrated about, if I tried to talk to Kyle about it, he just did not get it, and it would just be more frustrating and start putting wedges between us.
Just go back and forth. Like, frustration would just continue to build and build and build in that space.
Yeah.
Because, like, it wasn't computing in my head, and I'm just like, why don't you just chill? And she's like, that's not computing in her head because you don't understand because there's all this. And having another woman who's been through it to speak to is, I know you started doing that, and it was very relieving for you.
For sure.
Yeah.
So that's with, like, wedding planning. And I would just soak in that time. Definitely do premarital counseling.
Yes.
Read books together.
Yep.
Like The Meaning of Marriage, Love and Respect. Or even, like, listening to audiobooks together while you guys are driving.
Yeah.
Just anything you can do to continue to build that foundation and just try to have fun.
Yeah. Have fun. But be intentional with this time. If I could go back, I would have been more intentional with the time. And I would have dove deeper into, my deep, dark spots, that I didn't even know were there still. And, like, really seek the Lord in, like, helping me to become a better man of God and show me where my weaknesses are, my flaws are. Like, things, my past hurts and pains, like, help me to release those and, pray for healing on that. And I would have done all that before getting married. I don't think I did. I kind of went into marriage very cocky and just like, oh, this is gonna be so easy, we got this, all that, even though engagement was the fire, which we will talk about. I just wish I would have been more intentional with that within myself, and then also with her, and just being like more spending that time to become more unified, and just focused on the beautiful and powerful new stage of life ahead, this covenant with God, and what does that really mean? What does that look like? And how can we really just take advantage of this time now to honor God more and more and more? Yeah. So, just something that that's the advice I would give myself if I could go back.
Yeah. And then going through the sanctifying fire, what are things that we did to not give up? Well, things we did to not give up was we had another married couple that we would FaceTime if we had like a really bad fight.
Very helpful.
We would FaceTime with another couple. I also had my personal friends who I would reach out to for advice first. I think that helps me calm down, is to like verbally process with another woman about what I'm feeling. Kyle, not so much. That's not something you would.
I did a little bit, but not much.
So, but you
I was
were
more
open
of
to
like
it
a
with
lone wolf.
2 people.
Yeah, but I was open to it.
Yeah. Which is
and I had good conversations with certain guys that was very helpful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, the Lord had to do a lot of work. He had to do a lot of work.
And another thing we did was meet up with pastors at our church who specialized in like premarital stuff.
Yeah.
Just having somebody else there to talk to and process through things, that's like a third party that makes a more safe environment.
It helps a lot.
That is like my number one advice.
It keeps conversations that would explode without them at
more peaceful.
Peaceful level. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure we used faithful counseling in engagement, right? It wasn't just marriage.
Yeah, I think we did.
We had a good amount of therapy sessions with her, and that was very helpful as well.
Yeah.
So we just, I think the biggest tip would be to don't do it alone. Mm-hmm. Like seek help, seek counsel, do premarital counseling, bring, a God-fearing therapist into the picture if you need it. It just doesn't hurt even if you don't need it. And just get ahead of the game, you know, because it's hard. The fire is hot, but it is refining. It is beautiful. And we can look back and be grateful for it now. Yeah,
I'm like thinking back to that time, and I think it was very discouraging if we had like some kind of blow up and then a few days later had another one. Yeah. Like, I think it brought us, like, it was super heavy if it was happening very frequently. Back to back, and, like, then we would start judging ourselves and judging our relationship for where it was at. Yeah. Like, I think it was easy to be like, oh, well, we just suck at this, because it was happening kind of frequently in an engagement and in the beginning of marriage. But just knowing, like, it's okay. Yeah. It's okay. And once you hear more testimonies or go to marriage conferences or whatever it is, you will hear so many people just say that it's pretty part of the normal. Process. It's part of the process. Like, it is a gift if you can, like, view it that way. Right. And just know, like, your partner's not your enemy, but God will use your partner to expose your sins. Facts. Which are your own enemies. So it's like God uses your partner to expose, the devil's attacks over your life. So it will be hurtful, but you gotta really try to not take it out on them and just look at everything. Someone just was saying this is like to ask God if something starts to frustrate you that or you're getting upset about something. In that moment, just pause and ask God, what are you showing me about myself? What do you want to heal in me? Yeah. From this conversation, because it's very easy, very easy to be like they, but yeah, if you can take that step back and just be like, God, I'm feeling this way about them. What is it inside of me that you're trying to reveal? What is it inside of me that needs healing? Yeah. Yeah, that's really good. Yep. That's a good word. And I would have a friend that you can vent to. As a woman's perspective, there's things that like I get frustrated with, but if I just talk to my friend about it first, and make sure they're like somebody who isn't gonna judge you or condemn you or flame the fire, that they're just gonna help. Too. Yeah, because you don't want someone to like be like, yeah, that does suck. It's somebody who will just encourage you in what you can do and help you focus on yourself. But having just another wife to talk to in that season of engagement, like we said in the last question, it's just like so helpful. Definitely. Okay. Good stuff. What are your thoughts on unmarried Christian couples going on vacations together? Unmarried Christian couples. Okay. So are we engaged or are we just couple? Just does it make a difference? I guess if not. They're engaged? Well, it depends on the trip. So what are we talking about here? It just says, what are your thoughts on unmarried Christian couples going on vacation together? Did we go on vacation together? We kind of did. We did. We did a road trip
We did.
Well,
we went to Oregon.
We went to Oregon.
And then I proposed there.
We slept in separate rooms, but there were a few nights, I think after we got engaged, that we slept in the same bed.
Accurate.
Which was something we didn't want to do, but we did it.
Yeah.
So it's just very easy.
It's very easy to do the things that you don't want to do, because really you do want to do them, but you know you shouldn't do them.
Yeah.
And
like that can get kind of iffy, you know?
Yeah.
So it does open doors. So if temptation is something you already struggle with,
it's probably a no-go.
Unless you have other people there
to hold you accountable.
Who, like, you have another girlfriend who you can sleep in their bed and she'll keep you accountable to, like, not sneak over to his bed. And
yeah, because you can plan, like, oh, yeah, we're going this trip and you're sleeping in one bed and I'll sleep in another. But, like, temptation is very strong in that moment. Yeah. And it's like, oh, well, why don't we just lay down together and just relax for a little bit and watch a movie and then I'll leave, and then next thing you know, you don't leave.
Yeah.
We're not speaking from experience or anything. So basically, you just want to be very careful, guard your heart, guard your partner's heart, you know, honor God. So just ask yourself, I think that's the biggest thing, is like, ask yourself, God, will this honor you? You know, ask him, God, will this honor you? And then be honest with each other. It's like, can we actually do this? Is this something that, you know, we have any struggle with? And if it is, we do have a struggle with it, then let's be smart. You know, it's not, I forget exactly what they said, but it's like, it's not about how close to the line you can get without crossing over. It's about how far away from that line you can stay.
Yeah, which is hard to keep at the focus. I feel like we went through like a whole ups and downs. Like, we had always said we didn't want to like sleep in the same bed together before marriage, but we did when we would vacation or on that road trip we did, and then we went camping a couple times and we did, and then it kind of started bleeding into like when we lived in separate homes, we occasionally you would sleep over, and then
it's the whole movie thing.
And then we would stop.
Yeah.
And then
because we get convicted and be like, okay, we shouldn't be doing this.
And then we lived in the more so like because we wanted to save that like
that experience, even just sleeping in the same bed. Like, well, I'm not even talking about like sexual stuff, but we wanted to save like that experience too for marriage.
Which we didn't always do.
So
and then also living under the same roof, I feel like we didn't, which was interesting. But I think it's because we had the accountability of like an older couple living with us, and like if they saw us sleeping in the bed, they would probably say something. Right. So like when we were living under the same roof, we actually didn't sleep in the same bed.
But when we went on vacation, we're more lax than so we did. So it's just if I could go back, I think I could speak for both of us. If we could go back, I think we would have done that differently. Yeah. And just been like, you know what? We have our whole lives together. There's no reason or need to do this now. And at the end of the day, like, nobody's perfect, but that doesn't necessarily give us... I don't want to say that and be like, oh, nobody's perfect, so now we can go out and do it. And it's like, okay.
I don't think it's a sin.
It's not a sin.
But
it's just...
if it's leading you to sin, then that's especially a reason to stop doing it. For us, I don't think it was really leading us to sin. Yeah. I think it was maybe initiating more like...
We had moments where it initiated more physical contact.
Which then we had to pull back.
Correct. And that's where we're like, well, draw a line. But yeah, so that's the thing. It's not that it's a sin, but it can lead. It opens the doorway to just a stronger opportunity. It's like getting very close to that line. Yeah. Right? So... You know, everybody's experience and situation is their own, and everybody is different. So once again, seek the Lord in it, ask him about it, pray on it with him, pray on it individually, but also then come together and pray on it together. Yeah. And man, just know you got your whole life together. So there's no reason to rush anything. And there is a beauty to saving these moments, even something as small as just, you know, going to bed together, you know, which isn't even that small. It's awesome. And so there's beauty to saving it to your for your marriage. Yeah. So.
Okay. Yeah. So what do we think about other Christian couples who do it? I try not to judge anybody.
No, not at all.
If anything, just if you are really convicted against it for another Christian couple, which I know is really easy to do on social media, just pray for them. Don't try to slide into their DMs and be like, why are you vacationing together?
That doesn't help.
It's just going to stress you out, and it's also like doesn't help them being on the other side of it.
The best thing you can do is just pray for them.
If that's something you're convicted about on their behalf.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, absolutely.
Christian culture is just a whole lot of, I don't know.
Yeah. No, 100%. You know, we got to be careful to not get, you know, just prideful and
righteous and trying to have like discernment for other people who we don't know.
Right. It's like, just pray. Just pray. That's what God says. Just pray. Yeah. Right.
Love them, pray them. Pray them.
Pray them. Love them, pray them. Love them and pray for them.
Yeah. All right. I think that's going to be it for this video.
What
20 minutes later.
How does time go so quickly on these videos?
Yeah.
We can talk.
Oh, we're just chatterboxes.
We are chatterboxes. I feel like we just rambled for the last 20 minutes.
Probably. So hopefully it was helpful.
Hopefully it was helpful.
If not, you know, you can always put the video in like 1.5 speed. Picking things up, you know. But
even if you do that, still like, subscribe, and, you know, be a part of the Wolf Gang.
Yeah. All right. We love you guys, and remember,
Jesus loves you more. Bye. Have a good one, guys. God bless.